Hey guys, it's Feral Crafter, and this is Farming Simulator 17. I already did this recording, and somehow my recording software did not record audio. So I was blathering into this mic and nothing was being recorded. Anyways, as you can see, I've got a little farming done up to $350,000 now, and it's 4:16. Sun's starting to come up. Starting to see truck is lit up and all that good stuff. But what I really want to talk about was the actual numbers of a farm. Like here I'm showing off almost 12 hectares. And it's every 2 hectare is 5 acres, so 6 times 5. Is it really only 30 acres? Hang on, 2. I'm crunching numbers in my head while I'm like tired. So like 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 times 5. Yeah. So this plot of land you're looking at, plot number 5, is only 30 acres. And I was like, on my trip down south for the funeral, passed signs selling off, 103 acres. I'm like, holy crap. You know what you can do with 103 acres? A lot of stuff. Yeah, well, I went out and hunted down some numbers, and it turns out that anything under 1,100 acres, 1,100 acres, is considered to be just a hobby farm, part-time. And if you're doing what's called row crops, which is like corn and soy and anything else, then you're not going to be making enough money to even pay for a living. You might make $10,000 at the end of the year. And what can you do with $10,000? Most places that's poverty. Because you still have to pull out income tax from that. So, this is assuming you take out the cost of seed and insurance and just property tax, everything. So you'll make about like, I don't know. But anyways, when you get done, you'll have 10 grand left over to pay for food and rent and water and electricity and everything else. But 1,100 or even just one plain old 1,000 acres is considered a hobby farm, and it's just ridiculous. I'm like, 1,000 acres. You've got these sewing machines that can plant 500 acres in a day, and I don't know if that's 10 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, but 2 days you can plant 1,000 acres. But it doesn't sound like corn or soy was profitable at all. To actually have a full-size farm, you need like 10,000 acres. And I'm like, 10,000 acres all put together in one big area. That's tough to do. I'm like when I was down south and at the funeral, there was this caravan. I saw these, one of the machines were carrying the header for a combine, and I saw these plows and the cultivators and just like little tractors, like the smallest of the farm tractors. They're caravanning down the road at 30 miles an hour, and I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. Are they on a parade? No. It was like 5 to 20 acre little chunks throughout the entire town, and they were just going from plot to plot to plot, taking care of each and every one of them. So, just a little town. I'm like, damn, does it even add up to be actual full-time work? I mean, you had a caravan of 5 people, and I was like, oh my god, those are real. That's not just in a game. Of course they're real. But anyways, so they said that anything under 1,000 acres. If that's all you've got, then you're unemployed. Unless you've got some cattle or some animal, something on it. Otherwise, you're not making enough money. You have to go get a full-time job, and this is just a hobby. A hobby farm. You take 2 days vacation and go take care of the farm, and then go get back to work. But still, 10,000 acres. So the field I just showed you was 30 acres. I'm like, you need like 3 to get up to 100, a little more than 3.3333, etc. And to get up to 100, so 33 of those to get up to 1,000, and 333 of those size, just huge, connected, all to be one massive farm. But anyways, I was actually kind of paying attention more to the water, what it takes. And it's 22 inches of rain per season to grow corn. And 1 inch of rain is 27,000 gallons. And that's a hell of a lot. So like for an entire acre, you need 594,000 gallons to water your corn. I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. If you were paying, what is it, like 10 cents a gallon or 1 cent a gallon, but still, that's many thousands of dollars. But anyways, oh man, I don't remember my whole conversation. I talked into the mic, it was off the whole time. Oh, so upset. But anyways, trying to recover what I was remembering. So I was like, okay, to hold 500,000 gallons, it's actually like 0.6 million gallons is needed to hold all that. I was like, because farms will go into drought periods, like you just don't get rain, and the farmers are risking losing all their entire crop. So I'm like, hey, you really need to have some like a water tower, or maybe an underground structure that holds like thousands and hundreds of thousands of gallons of water that you can tap from. And then like the water runoff you can capture, because it's going to have like tons of nitrates in it, and nitrogen, and all the other stuff, and you really don't have to spend money on as much nitrogen because you got all this runoff in it. So I'm like, okay, well, a water tower, a standard city water tower you see as you drive down the road, holds about 1 million gallons. Now the numbers I found was 1.5 million the city was putting in would cost them $4.7 million. So you're looking at about $3 a gallon in storage cost just to flatten the land, put in the concrete and the foundation, level it all out, and then you put in your structure. And that's not counting, how much maintenance and if there's any leaking and whatever. But $4.7 million. And I'm like, and that would, definitely hold at least 2 acres if you are doing. Oh yeah, I was chopping down wood, and I'm like, where is that? So I'm like, picking up the truck. I'm like, oh, where am I going? So I'm going back to chip some wood and continue chatting. The hauler only holds like 8,000 chipped wood, and the chipper holds 5,000. So whenever I fail to notice that the chipper is filling the truck, I'm like, ah, crap. But anyways, so I'm gonna pull up and fill up with 5,000 units here, and like it's a log or two to top it off to 8,000. But anyways, getting back to the other topic. And sorry to just geek out. I know the last one I was a little geeking out about case tractors, and now I'm just geeking out about water and acreage and just all this stuff, because it's like I love the game, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if I just buy a farm and do farming things and just I don't know, enjoy the sun, enjoy fresh air, you know, just be outside of a cubicle, away from fluorescent lights. Yeah, can't do it with 1,000 acres. And that's a lot. And that's not counting the hundreds of thousands of dollars you need for equipment. So I'm like, oh, well, there goes that dream. I was at a town festival. They're celebrating their little, you know, podunk town. So they got the kettle corn going and the friggin' bouncy, you know, the bouncy area that you jump into and all sorts of other games, and to get the carnival guys in there to do the Ferris wheel and all that crap. And I talked to him and says, you know, I've been thinking about, you know, starting a farm. You know, starting small and building. And it says, well, there's only 3 ways you can actually get into the farming industry. 1, you win the lotto. 2, you're a big town city lawyer. Or 3, you inherit it. Otherwise, no, it's not possible, you know, to get into farming and make a living at it. But, you know, not everything requires, you know, 10,000 acres. Like, you know, if you've got cattle, you can do pretty well with some small acreage. Blueberries. If you have a 100 acre plot of blueberries, you've got a very large farm. And of course, the difference between the successful people and the ones that are failing is about a 10% difference in profit. You know, the top 25% will be 5% better than the average, whereas the bottom 25% is 5% doing worse than the average. And that's kind of the way it turns out. Yeah, completely filled up the the trailer so quick. Was that like 3 logs? Anyways, so yeah, most of my ideas are huge. You know, it's like the things I want to do. So it's like, okay, let's just say you get a 1,000 acre farm and you want to have a water facility or a water catch. You know, maybe you're just off a river. You know, right now Ohio is flooded. You know, Cincinnati is flooded. You get all these little towns. You check out the map, and there's like 100 little places. It looked like 100 places. I don't know how many places are actually flooded. And, you know, it's like first level completely flooded. I'm like, okay, what if you built one of these farms next to a river? And rivers don't stay in their beds. They have a tendency of moving. But just hypothetically, you build a 500 million gallon facility. It could be just like this underground stone. Well, nowadays everything's fucking concrete. But anyways, I love stone. Concrete is just, I don't know, it's like playing with Legos instead of actually building. But anyways, concrete's legit. It lasts for a few hundred years. Stone lasts for a few thousand years. I'd rather have something built out of stone, but to get real stone masons to build a underground stone facility that holds 500 million gallons, yeah, none of my ideas are small. I don't think small. I think big society ideas, you know. So 1,000 acre hobby farm. Yeah, fuck that light. Run it over. Run it over. Pull forward. Run it over. Anyways. So like, you know, 1,000 acre needs 500 million gallons just for corn. If all you're doing is one season of corn, you know, you could water it yourself even if you're out in the, you know, Mojave Desert. So I'm like, okay, you build this 500 million gallon facility next to the river, and when it starts to flood, you know, you're going to be upriver of these towns, and you just, you know, pull off 10%, you know, of the river, and just fill up, you know, and then when you're done, you're like, hey, I did what I could. Sorry, guys, that's all I could do. What'd you guys do? You got sandbags? Good for you. But, you know, you're going to catch everything. You're going to get some fish in there. There's going to be some serious sediments. Probably some stray dogs and some corpses that washed in because someone was stupid enough to be like, I'm going to drive my all-electric car into a river and wonder why I can't roll down my windows with the power windows. Yeah. Good work. You just built your own self a coffin and drowned yourself. But anyways, morbid ideas. But I was thinking, okay, all these little towns, I'm like, what if they pitched in and they all made their own 500 million gallon underground water catch system? You know, so like as the river goes down the stream, maybe like every 5 miles you have one of these. You just pull off like 10% as needed to just cut the river back, you know, from flooding and blowing over, you know, levees and crap. Ah, fuck this 3-pivot thing. I hate them. Anyways, yeah. Oh, where was I going with all this? Yeah, most of my thoughts are not small. They're huge. They're society building stuff. And I'm like, okay. And this is only like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the actual ideas. Because I'm like, okay, you know, after that, it's like you get Cincinnati and Ohio completely flooded. And then everywhere down, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico is going to have like flood problems. And I'm like, okay. What we need to do is like the freeway system, but underground, and it's a water system. A dual pipe system where you can divert the water from both pipes into just one, so you can shut off quarter-mile segments, drop in your little backhoes and your, you know, muck rakers, and pick up the sediment and clean it out. You know, maybe pick up the fish or whatever. And the whole point is that, like, while the West Coast is just dehydrated, they don't have anything, the East Coast and the Midwest is being flooded. Texas had a hurricane. They flooded. Imagine if you had this system you set up every 5 miles where not only you could fill up 500 million gallons, which, you know, is a drop in the bucket when it comes to the hurricane. You have a pipe system. You just dump it into the pipe. Everything. Every sediment, child, every dead body, corpse, chunk of house. You know, you dump it in and let anyone in the system be able to pull out. You know, so while California is burning up, you know, you can pump the water into their system. But of course, when things are done, you know, the hurricane's done, the water subsides, you've tried to ease as much as you can from the flooding. You need to shut off, you know, quarter-mile segments and go out and dredge it. You know, pull up the sediments. Otherwise, the whole pipes are just going to fill up with dirt and fish and bodies and chunks of roof and everything else. And that would be a full-time, lifetime career for a lot of people. I'm like, well, that's one thing. You know, and you got to feed the people, so why not? You know, why not? And, like, I never think small. I think huge. Huge. So it's like, you know, I'm thinking about the whole, 1 million gallon water tower is $3 million about. Like, who the hell has $3 million? But that doesn't stop me from going on to the extreme. So these pipes, you get like one from West Coast to East Coast, you know, right through the middle of the United States, you know, along the 70. And you make sure you hit like the major, and then like north-south, so that pretty much hits the Mississippi, Missouri, and like a few of the others, you know, just little ones that branches into the main pipes going north-south, and then the major pipes going west-east, and east to west. Of course, you know, it's a pipe, and you just open it up and fill it up as you need it, and those that need it can pull out the water. And this would be huge, but this is trillions and trillions of dollars that I'm thinking about. You know, an actual project, you know, like the Panama Canal kind of project or the Hoover Dam kind of project. This is not something that's going to be done overnight for a few bucks. This is a lifetime. You know, it's going to be major planning and major engineering and just all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, this is what America needs. We really need to have a focus, something we can go after, something we can chew our teeth in and says, yeah, we're working on this, and yeah, we're going to be the only nation in the world that has it. You know, one area floods, and no, we just drain the river. It's like, screw you, we can handle, you know, billions of cubic feet per second. You know, bring it. And what drought? That's going to be a mythical thing. What do you mean drought? The pipes are full, pump it out. Unemployment, just send them to drudge dirt. Maybe a full-time career where they learn to, use the backhoe and all the good stuff. This is not a shameful thing where it's like you send in the, street urchins to start with shovels. No. There's a full career. People get paid for this. $12 an hour, 15, whatever it is. And they work. They do real work. None of this stock market crunching numbers shit. But anyways. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. So, I was looking at rivers, the flow of the rivers. And like the Mississippi. I'm not talking I'm talking Missouri. The Mississippi River's huge, tons and tons of. It's about 6 times the size of the Missouri River. But the Missouri River, 1 cubic feet is about 7.4 gallons of water, and the Missouri River discharges 86.3 thousand cubic feet per second. I'm like, holy shit. So I crunched the numbers, and it's just under 650,000 gallons per second. So at the beginning, when I'm talking about a 0.6 million gallons is what I need per acre. I'm like, holy shit. It'd take less than a second to siphon it off. Oh, check this out. It's the reflection of the sun. The sun! Yes, let me go. Huh. Where'd the sun go? Oh my god, the reflection! Look at the reflection of the sun. Where's the sun? The game needs some work. But anyways, I found that funny. I'm like, oh my god! The reflection of the sun! Oh, they still haven't added the sun. Anyways. So I'm getting back to the numbers. So I'm like, okay, to fill up a 500 million gallon facility would take 919 seconds. Basically 2.5 hours. Imagine the Missouri River just disappears. It just disappears. People are like, why'd the Missouri just turn into a puddle? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.